Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one. So, welcome to the newest episode of the AJ Panel Podcast. Today we're gonna talk about dating and all the dating of modern women and all this foolishness. We're gonna talk about craziest dating stories. So, so we're gonna start out with an article, and this is actually a study that they did in 2019, and this article is called "A Third of Women Only Date Men Because of Free Food." And this was published in June 2019, you guys. So it's not too long ago. So it basically says booty calls is what happens when a girl calls a guy out on a date only to get a free meal. So she said foodie calls can happen when money's tight, the grocery store's out of their favorite frozen meal, or a must try entree is just too extravagant to justify, or when the tab comes out of your bank account. Two studies, the first conducted with 820 women and the second with 327, asked participants if they ever engaged in a plate for pay. 23% of the women copped to it in the first study and 33% in the second study. The researchers also noted that the women who felt dating for food was socially acceptable were more likely to exhibit the dark triad of personality traits. That's psychopathy, Machiavellianism, and narcissism for all of us lay people. In addition to egotism, they said that foodie callers are more likely to engage in one night stands, faking an orgasm, or sending unsolicited sex pics. And with climbing rents and the ever expanding list of restaurants to try, New York might well be teeming with foodie calls. One East Villager, Olivia Balsinger, was treated to a five-course meal at the C&B and seafood joint Catch in the meatpacking district. She said, if I would have been forced to pay, I probably wouldn't have been able to eat for weeks afterwards. So what do you guys think about foodie calls? Now that's one in three, guys. One in three say that they only date a guy to get free food.
Oh man, I'm glad I didn't go out on a date that much. So, so I'm gonna say,
I mean, it's not surprising. Ray, what do you think?
I think that's just sad.
Yeah, isn't it? A bunch of broke
It's
broads.
it, it's just sad because it's the same women that do that that will then like go behind your back and just talk a whole bunch of junk
Yeah,
to their
yeah, and
friends, group
yep,
chats, and it's just like, wow,
and
what
say
about
men are
yourself?
trash, and say men are trash,
Yeah,
men are this, but you're the one eating off them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a trash, but you're coming to me for a free meal.
Yep. And
So
that's the
am I
craziest.
really trash if I'm the one that's feeding you?
And here's the thing. Did you notice they said a third the people who do this all have those psychopathic traits? That's a third of women. And I think that that's an underestimated number. So these new modern women are all nuts, man. You know what I mean? A
Yeah.
good chunk of them are narcissistic psycho people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, but here, so while we move on past the article real fast, guys, let's do some introductions quick. So my name is AJ. You guys know me. I'm a red pill guy. You know, I don't like the BS. And I like to make this content for you guys and get this info out there. And we're gonna keep this podcast going. Thanks for all those who like and subscribe. And yeah, man, I'm always here. So, you want to tell us about yourself?
oh yeah. So I was born and raised in Ethiopia. I moved to the United States 12 years ago. I work in the technology field, and did I say I live in DC? It's one of the most expensive places to live at.
Expensive
Currently,
and trifling too, right?
it is, yes.
Anyways, what are you saying?
And I'm single. I'm enjoying the single life. Yeah, man, that's me.
And Ray, so I think that the people know you by now, but if you want to tell the new listeners about yourself.
Hello, my name's Raymond Reddington. I live in Maryland. I'm a small local actor out in the DMV. I have a few movies coming out, so check them out.
Cool. And yeah, so I guess the first thing we can go over is so all my listeners know that I'm originally from Washington State, from the West Coast, and dating has been interesting in that all the places that I've lived, it's like Washington State is liberal, single mother, like feminist haven, right? So it's interesting, like dating in Washington State, there's a lot of like these kind of white hippie girls, and then there's a whole lot of single moms, right? Like white suburban single moms. And I don't know if it's because of the whole like feminism, like we don't need men thing, but Seattle's a single mother capital of the United States. So I think that was the worst part about dating there. While as all you guys can agree that the DMV, DC, Maryland is just off the chain. These women are just nuts. You know what I mean? All these crazy expectations, all this drama, and there's a lot of guys who are successful, like Ray and Doc here, that are just saying screw it, checking out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I mean, and the thing is, what these women they don't realize is that men win in the end. If you're trying to be successful, having women in your life before you reach your goal only takes away from what you're doing.
Mm.
So they don't understand that by making it more difficult and you just ignoring them, they're making it better for you. They're making it worse for themselves, right, guys?
Yep.
Facts. So Ray, you're from the DMV originally, correct?
Correct. DC.
So have you ever dated anyone from any other part of the United States or anything? Or have you always dated just here?
Does talking count?
What do you mean by talking, man? Come on now.
Like we met in the DMV, but then obviously they lived in another state, and we just
Okay.
kept communication. Um, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, I've pretty much just always dated within the DMV.
Okay. How's it been?
Oh, horrible. Horrible.
And Ray, so you're from here. So I made an observation that the thing about the DMV, this area is, everywhere else I lived, you meet a chick and it's chill. Hey, how you doing? But whatever, you go out, whatever. But here, it's everyone's trying to outdo each other. You know what I'm saying? Oh
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
you're an actor. Well, I'm a Broadway actress who did this, and well, you do IT. Well, I'm a lawyer. Oh, you've been to India. I've been to Mount Kilimanjaro. So everyone's always trying to outdo each other. So it's just
Yes, yes.
cap. You know what I'm saying?
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, and I've
Totally agree
never
with
lived
that.
anywhere else where women see men. We're supposed to lead with our accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Mm.
yo, I went to this school, I this that. But then the women in the DMV and a lot of modern women around, but the DMV, it's an epidemic of this. If I go out with a woman, I don't care about your degree. I don't care about any of that. Let's just chat, chill. You know what I'm saying? But this whole thing of constantly trying to they'll ask you a question about yourself and then try and one up that everything you do,
Yep.
Mm.
even if it's
Yeah.
cap. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's just
Yes,
my
and
experience.
also like it's kind of so yeah, I've got the chance to travel some places, right? I've seen quite a few places. And even like when you travel to the west and DMV area is kind of different. Like um it gets easier to talk to people outside of the DMV area, I feel like.
Yeah, That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Now, Dai, you had a couple stories, but do you? So, having lived in, say, Ethiopia, because you know the whole passport bros thing, where a lot of black men and even white guys now are saying, "Look, screw these Western chicks. I'm gonna go to Africa. I'm gonna go to South America. I'm gonna go to Thailand or whatever." Like you've dated in Africa and here, so can you kind of compare what it's like dating in, say, the DMV as compared to Ethiopia, where you're from? Like the difference in the women and all of that stuff.
Yeah, so like there is like a lot of similarities, right? I think um uh what the men and women look in a relationship is kind of similar, but the priorities and how you go about it is a little different. For example, if you want to date in Ethiopia, and when I say Ethiopia, it's a big country, right? I mean, it's diverse, and I can only speak about like a particular area, like the central Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, right? That's where I grew up. It's a city. It has a lot of Western influence. So
Mm-hmm.
like uh, you basically the approach is the same as here, but you have to be religious. Like if you don't follow a certain religion, your chances are almost none. And that's like a priority. The second thing is like uh you know you don't, so the culture there is like more strict, right? So like you don't get to spend a lot of nights with your girlfriend unless you're married. So like you don't live together unless you're married, like
Okay, so it's still
family
old school, so it's like traditional.
yeah, yeah, so like families won't allow it. And also like it's more traditional than it is here.
So, so is it just society, or is women too that are more traditional?
Women also are more traditional
Okay,
because of the society, influence. But I mean, and also like you have to wait a little longer to get anything than here. So the effort on the men's part is a little more than what's in the United
okay,
States.
okay. So, but here's the thing: do you see a lot of Ethiopian chicks thotting it up over there? You know what I'm saying?
Kinda, yeah, yeah.
So, my question
Like,
is, no,
uh-huh.
keep going.
Yeah, so like they wanna see you, like they wanna get a good feeling about you, like who you are, what you're looking for, like you have to be um what's the word, like you have to be very you have to be less aggressive than here. You have to show that you're reliable, that you have to show
But
that
here's
you're
the
yeah.
reason why I'm asking is that, see, we have a lot of these modern women here who expect men to do that here, but they're bouncing around from dick to dick. You know what I'm saying? Just not being traditional chicks. See, traditional chicks are
Yeah,
you know,
I don't. That's not how it is in Ethiopia, actually.
okay.
Yeah,
See,
that they're
see,
they're
that's
more
the
like they're
issue.
more reserved, and
Okay,
also like, uh, you know, they're going to be embarrassing their family. Society will be a little harsher on them and all
okay.
that stuff. So, you know, at least like, I'm not saying they're all saints, but uh, like everything is done like uh under the darkness or something. Like you don't see a woman going out with a bunch of men freely.
Okay. So basically, they ask men to be traditional because the women are traditional and they get traditional outcomes because everyone's trying to be traditional. So like men have to work to get it, but it's not all used up like it is here, like these women here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but also yeah, and from the men's side, right? So like men has a lot of saying in the relationship, in what's going on in their marriage, right? So like when I
Well, you can tell that that ain't the United States, right? You
I'm not
mean men have a say in their marriage and what happens? Oh no, that can't happen in the United States. Oh no.
yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's necessarily like a good thing for the, especially for the women, and of course to the to the rest of the family. Um, so like men spend like money however they feel like. They spend the night out. It's acceptable. Like you could go at 4 a.m. in the morning and you expect to be uh, treated well, right? Like most women do that. That's what I noticed. I mean, I've never lived with a woman, but like from people, friends, and stuff that I hang out with, that's been the case. And I'm like, I'm surprised. Like, how is that possible? Like, how you have like a peaceful marriage and doing all of this stuff like you're a single person, you know?
Mhm.
I don't think you can do that here.
Yeah, I think we have a more modern view of marriage. So basically, so how is it like dating here in the DMV now that you're here? So I know that you've been in the States for a while. What you said, what, 12 years, right?
Yes, yes.
So I think you have enough data and experience to give an accurate summation of what's going on. Like, how do you? What is your general outlook of over here compared to over there, as far as like from a man's perspective? Because you are a man, but like trying to be successful in dating. What are the differences between like here and there, and what are your experiences?
So, well, here, you can, well, you find very interesting characters, like,
That's an understatement.
yeah. And like also like one of my successful relationships were here. Uh, but throughout the time I was here, uh, that it's kind of it could be fun if you if you are let's say better in a better standing in financially, with your family structure and stuff. So like I don't have any kids, so and I work, so for me it was okay. Like I didn't have a lot of problems dating, but there are like some stories, man, that was so funny, uh, uh, that left me scratching my head.
So basically, a question for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are the women in Ethiopia where you're from and the women here, these modern DMV chicks, like what are the pros and the cons of each? So woman from Ethiopia, a traditional chick, modern DMV woman. Like what are the pros and the cons of each as you see them?
I mean, so like uh from what they want, like you know Ethiopia, the culture is a little more traditional, but the women doesn't necessarily are like traditional. What they want out of a man is pretty similar to here. Uh, the only difference is that I would say is like here, like women tend to be a little more free and open. They're willing to try new things. In Ethiopia, you don't expect that. Like
Hmm.
you don't it's going to be very like normal kind of relationship,
Okay,
right?
that makes sense.
Yeah. But other than that, like you have to be uh you have to treat them the way they want, like they both want the same kind of treatment. The characteristics they're looking for are pretty similar from a man, like, your finances, your family, your what do you call you basically, your character,
Okay.
that what they're looking for is kind of similar, you know what I'm saying?
But for a guy who wants a traditional woman, though, you would definitely say that Ethiopian woman would most likely be the better traditional option for him. Meaning, right? Let's
Yeah.
just say that you want to settle down and have kids, and you line up 100 Ethiopian girls and 100 DMV chicks. A higher percentage of Ethiopian girls that would have less bodies on them. They would be less loud and annoying. They would probably, put a hot dog on a plate. You know what I'm saying? And not talk mess like these chicks do over here. Correct?
Well, I would say Ethiopian girls are exceptionally beautiful, and that's a plus. And also, like, I think the divorce rate in Ethiopian community here is lesser than what it is for
Yeah, I don't think that is
um,
53% like it is here in the
no, it's
States.
not.
And then women, they file for divorce 80% of the time, 90% if they're college educated. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just crazy. So yeah, man. I mean, there's this big movement now. Like I said, the passport bros. You have a lot of guys flying to Ethiopia, flying to Colombia, flying to all these places because they've tried to date in places like DMV, and they're saying screw it.
No, I mean, like,
Tired of ice
any
skating
any
uphill.
place you go, any place you go, uh, like right now, uh, like any place you go outside of the United States, you would have a better balanced life,
Yeah, that's
right?
facts,
So
man.
yeah, like I've seen a couple of countries, right? And I was like, sometimes I say, like, what am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? Because, like,
You hear
you know,
that Ray? So we got a dip, man.
I'm telling you, it's
Shoot, I'm ready to
crazy.
go. I got my bags packed already. Let's go.
Like,
I'm waiting, man.
I was in Mombasa, right? In Kenya. And I stayed there for like a month. And I was like, I was being driven around. Uh, food was like extremely cheap. The people are extremely nice. Like the rent I pay here would cover all of my expenses in like mad luxury there. And it's like you eat and the food doesn't fight you, right? You know, you're not worried about like covering your expenses. You're not worried about like um losing your job or anything like that. It's like it's a very comfortable life. And I didn't get to date anyone there, but like if I wanted it to, like, there were like plenty of women, like, you can get to. It's a very easy life. And like, when when you don't have a stress, your personal life gets much better.
Yeah,
uh
that's what I always say is like, if you can imagine every man's life as a pie chart, right? And
yeah.
there's percentage of that pie chart that's for work, the gym, your BS, and it's like, why would you want to fill a good chunk of that pie chart up with a woman that's giving you mess? You know what I'm saying? With foolishness from a woman, it don't make any sense. When there's women all over the world that won't be filling up that large percent, they'll actually make your life easier. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean, every relationship should be supportive, and like you should be better off in a relationship than you're single. And if you're having trouble being with someone, right? Like you don't need to fix it. You don't need to work on that kind of stuff. You just need to leave.
Yep.
Like
Was it just throw the smoke bomb and disappear into the mist? That's what I said.
exactly.
Just
And
dip. You know what
you always gotta have you always gotta have your exit strategy. Like most like these days everybody put their relationship out on social media.
Yeah.
You see all these reels and posts and stuff about like relationship issues and all that stuff. And you can't blame anybody for that. If you have problems and like you feel the need to put it out on social media, you're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. That's
you need
facts.
to have, when you get on a relationship, you need to have an exit strategy. Because like the stats, right?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
even 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 marriage is like what, 50%, 59% now?
53%. And then women file for divorce 80% of the time. And if they're college educated, 90% of the time. I'm telling you guys, back I made the mistake of I tell you guys, and this is for all my listeners, that this is probably new to you guys. When AJ was a young lad, I lived in Washington State. I bought it. It was a liberal haven, and I was a blue pilled, just simp. It was bad, dude. But luckily, I always had this red pill voice in the back of my head, right, saying something isn't right. And I remember because I got chicks back in high school, right? But I wasn't pulling sevens and eights, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I got to college, I was like, you know what? The nice guy doesn't get me because all the girls come to the nice guy to complain about the assholes. Why don't I just be the asshole? And that was like my red pill aha moment. You know what I'm saying? And the rest has been history. But I just think that red pill content really, really does prepare guys and give them like the realistic expectations when it comes to females. I mean, Ray, what do you think?
Sorry about that.
No
Kind of got
worries, man.
distracted. Could you repeat that again?
Or we're just
As
talking
to
talking about how you know knowing what you know now about relationships, how you don't even put up with mess, just leave. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
don't.
Whereas
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whereas
Leave.
society teaches men you have to stick it out, you have to do things for her. And what I'm saying is like content like this and general red pill content saves a lot of men by giving us this information and these tools
Absolutely.
to navigate life and not be bogged down by some crazy chick. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
I honestly feel, and there are some people who will agree with me, and that's not even agree, but disagree with me, which is totally fine. Um, but I feel like there are men out here, the blue pill men, who feel like it's just better to be simps for modern women. And modern women see that as a way to control them, get
Yeah.
whatever they want,
And get
like
free
free
food.
food, like free food, like a trip here, like a new Gucci bag. And the guy's like, all right, yeah, I scored me an 8, I scored me a 9, I scored me a 10, I scored it. I show off to all my friends, yeah, I got it. But behind that, it's like, do you really? Because
Or
when
how
you're
about
feeling like
this?
crap,
How about this? He's paying for all this money and then Ray is smashed it for free. Ray didn't have to
exactly,
take her on a date. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because he knows what's up. Or she went out on a date with him and she's texting Ray during the date and then she gives him a peck on the cheek and then pulls up to Daw's house and
that's
Di is
just wild,
smashing. You know what I'm saying?
wild. And that's literally how it is today. And it's just like, are you sure that's the one? Because if you feel like crap, if you're if you're down bad, are you sure you're gonna be able to go to her and talk to her about how you really feel?
Of course not.
Is she gonna listen? Of course
Of
not.
course
She
not.
doesn't
Nope.
care. She just
Nope.
cares about what you produce. And if you
Yep.
can't produce anymore, what's she
Yep.
gonna do? You think she's gonna stay by you? Hell no.
That's
She's gonna
true.
go find the next dude who's gonna provide, and then the
Yeah.
next one after that.
And if
She's
you
probably
are
got like,
down bad, these chicks always try and say, "Oh, well, I want a sensitive guy who's gonna cry," and we're gonna have another show, guys, and it's gonna be a banger. Guys, don't cry in front of your girl. Don't do it. Women lose respect for you if you cry. Now, if your mama dies or something, or maybe you unwatched, near the end of like Saving Private Ryan a couple times, and you got a little bit of mist in your eyes, fine. But don't be crying with these women. Don't do it, because we guys, what do they always do? They'll take whatever weakness or whatever something, and they'll throw it. You guys will fight, and they'll throw it back in your face. Well, and you remember when you cried when your mama died, you punk bitch. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? So don't do it, guys. The only time it's okay if a family member dies or your best friend dies, or you can sniffle a little bit if you're watching like a real sad film. But other than that, guys, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't
see, a
do it.
lot of people will be like, "Oh, that's just toxic masculinity." Blah 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 blah
Please.
blah. No, it's not. It's not toxic masculinity.
Nope. It's
You've
called
made it so men can't be sensitive,
nope.
that we
They'll-
can't share our feelings. Because if we
Mhm.
do that, you turn it, flip it, and use it against us.
Yep. And also too, if you look at interviews on TikTok and all this other stuff, these girls always go, I want my guy to be sensitive, but he can only cry about X amount of stuff for X amount of days. It's like, wait a minute. So they're trying to tell you what you can cry about and how long. So guys, just don't even do it. But guys, let's transition. Let's flip the script and let's get into some crazy dating stories. I know each of you guys got like 2 or 3 stories. So whoever wants to go first, go ahead and let's jump into it.
I think I have the something that's kind of related to the article that we were discussing earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, I started talking to this girl, right? And she told me she's a healthcare worker, and we were having a conversation. So she was like, when we meet, you're gonna take me shopping. And I'm like,
Wait,
yeah,
what?
okay. Yeah.
What?
So I said, yeah, of course. And I was like, where do you want to go shopping? And she's like, I want to go to Tyson's Corner.
What?
Like, yeah. So
Ray, so you're from Maryland here, so can you tell the listeners what Tyson's Corner is? So what kind of shops are there?
Tyson Corner, for those who are not in the DMV, Tyson's Corner is a big old shopping center in Virginia that is just filled with the most expensive stores. I'm talking about your Gucci stores, Versace. They have car dealerships that sell Lambos, Ferraris, Teslas. I mean, this is like top of the top wealthy people shop here.
And she
exactly.
said, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Like, well, I don't go shopping in that area. I'm not that rich, and also, like, I didn't say anything about finances or anything. Like, the only thing I told her is like, I work, like, I work in technology, and that's it. So, I was like, I thought it was like a joke. I thought she was being, funny, because like we were just having like the first initial conversations, right? So I was like, and I like totally. I thought it was just she's making jokes. So we keep discussing, and she's like, yeah, I want a man to retire me, and blah blah and all that stuff. And I'm like, this girl is funny. I got you, like, don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about that healthcare stuff. So, and I started making jokes, and I thought it was just that. And then, we met. So I took her to a restaurant, and she just like ordered the most expensive food in the menu, right? And I mean, it's fine. I don't care. Like, but like, eh, what comes after that was like the surprising part, right? So like, we were eating, and she's like, so like, we're going to Tyson's Corners tomorrow, and I'm like, what do you? Yeah, like, are you serious? And she's like, hell yeah, I'm serious. Like, we talked about this, and I'm like, no, I
No,
thought.
no, you talked about this.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought you were joking, right? Like, and she's like, no, I'm being serious. So I was like, so you also want me to retire? You're like, you want me to take care of you? She's like, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm like, why would I do that? Like, what why do I do that? And she got no answer, right? Like, nothing. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not taking you shopping. I'm not retiring you. In fact, I'm done with this whole thing, so I'm going. And she's like, all right, that's fine. Um, so I drove here. So you have to pay for the gas, the the, the mileage on my car, for the car service.
I
Like,
would have said, hell no. Hell no.
and
and I
and
was
just to be
like,
interested, what did this girl look like? Because the thing is, I knew girls in college that would ask for this type of stuff, but they look like Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? I was telling Ray earlier
Not
today,
even that. Hang on, hang
but
on.
but
Let me ask you. I'm
I'm just
sorry for
saying
interrupting.
that could be in the stratosphere of like, I know pretty girls that ask for some crazy stuff. I don't think it's right, but I understand because they're that pretty. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I wouldn't give it to them, but I understand where they're coming from. Was she a 10?
I don't know how you define a 10. I mean, she's all right. Like, that's why I wouldn't
That
go.
means
She
Like,
no.
wasn't a 10. She wasn't a
yeah,
10.
like,
He came out.
I,
She's all right.
I don't care what she is. I really don't care. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, it's just ridiculous. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So it's just like, I just left, get up, pay my tab, and left.
When you guys went out for drinks, did she arrive on time?
Yeah, she actually did.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, she actually did. But like, she
There'll be
came for
some
that
women out
shopping, so she
here.
gotta be on time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
There'll
she
be some
can't be
women
late.
out here who'll be like, all right, yeah, he's taking me out to dinner. I'm gonna arrive an hour, maybe 2 hours late, and have him pay for everything and think everything's all grim.
Nope. I'd have
Yeah,
took.
you see that's actually where you should draw the line, right? Like, that's the
I
most
would have drew the
disrespectful.
line at, oh, you're gonna take me shopping. You're gonna retire me. Before I
Yeah,
even pulled up, I would have been like, you said
Hell
what?
no. Yeah.
dude, I thought she was being funny. Like, I
Like,
thought that
hey,
was a
block me.
joke.
I don't care.
Like I said, they want socialism now, right? So average girls and ugly girls and fat girls want the same outcomes that tens get. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And they just think men are stupid. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, it does not compute. So I remember I met this girl, right? And she was in some kind of like, digital marketing. So she lived by herself and like didn't really go anywhere because she had just moved here and then like didn't know anyone or whatever. So she was by herself and she would just like work on her computer all day. So we went out like twice, right? And on the third time, I'm like, well, it's time to smash. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been twice. And everything was totally cool, right? But the third date, it was me and her friends. So she didn't tell me that these three chicks were gonna be there. And all of them were these loudmouth, DMV professional wine mom drinking dog moms, right? So the whole night was just annoying, right? Annoying. And we ended up going all the way across town to get food at this tapas place. Now, for those who don't know, tapas are those small little Spanish plates. Now, guys, I'm 6'3", right? I need food. Ray, we're about the same size, right? Right? I mean, yeah, we're about the same size. I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to a place where I got to spend $80 on 4 plates of little octopus and tostadas. You know what I'm saying?
Hell no. Hell no.
So we end up going, and one of the girls is like, "Oh well, now my my sister's husband or her boyfriend is a piece of trash because he's not gonna step up to the plate for being a dad because she's pregnant." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. Did they talk about having a baby?" Well, no. What does that matter? I said, so she got pregnant, didn't tell him that she wasn't on birth control, and then it's just making this guy a father, and you expect him to just go along with it. Well, what is that? Blah, blah, blah. So all of them are all mad. You guys know me. I'm not backing down. So I said, look, women have 31 forms of birth control. There's more flavors of birth control than there are flavors at Baskin Robbins now. You know what I'm saying? You guys got the morning after pill, you got abortion. I said, there's no reason why that this is her fault. And this girl that I would see looks at me and goes, "You're on your way to the friend zone, pal." And all the girls started laughing. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So they all went up to go to the bathroom. I got up, paid my tab, jumped in an Uber, and left. And it's funny because I was on the way home and my phone started blowing up. Ignore. All of a sudden, text, "Where are you? What happened? Where'd you go? Where'd you go?" Block. On the dating app we use, block. She even got my Facebook while I was driving in the 45 minutes that it took me in traffic to go. She hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. I had to block her. And then I remember one of her friends was from San Diego. A San Diego number started calling me. She was calling me from her friend's phone too. I blocked her and never talked to her. Threw the smoke bomb and disappeared into the mist, guys. Trying to disrespect me and act like she's big shit in front of all of her freaking harpy friends. I don't think so, you know? So, Ray, what about you, man?
Oh boy, where do I start? I have way too many stories. I got stories that might last generations. Um, God, let's do a recent one. All right, so I was talking to this girl a while back, um, and she was pretty cute. She was pretty cute. She seemed to have a strong head on her shoulders. So I was like, all right, I'll give her my attention. Um, and then she was like, let's go to Georgetown. So for those people who don't know Georgetown is this little spot in DC, similar to Tyson's Corner. It's very popular, lots of expensive stores like that. So we go to Georgetown, we go grab a bite, we get some Chipotle. Um, and then as we're walking into some of the stores, she's like, hold on, can we first we're at Chipotle, and then she's like, can we stay here? I was like, okay. So we're staying in the Chipotle, we're talking, and then a group of people, like maybe two, three people, and they're all her friends. And I'm like, wait, did you just invite me here? Had me pay for your
Oh, you muted. Ray, you muted.
Anyway, is that better?
Yeah. You're
All
good.
right. So her friends arrive. They're rude as all hell. They're looking at me up and down. They're like, "Who's this guy?" I'm like, "All right, let me try and keep my composure." So we go into the store, and then one of her friends is like, "Oh, so you're not gonna buy her nothing?"
So
I was like,
wait, hold on. So we missed part of the story. So you asked her, did she invite you there to pay for what now? That's when
"Yeah."
you cut
So
off.
we went to Georgetown. I paid for the food. I was like, "That's no problem. It's food." And then she was like, she didn't tell me anything. She was like, "We're gonna get Chipotle, then we're gonna go walk around Georgetown, go to the stores." I was like, "All right, that's no problem. I don't mind doing that." She's like, "But can we stay here after we're done eating?" I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, cool." So then her friends show up, and then they're just so rude. I mean, rude. They're like, "Who's this guy?" Talking all a bunch of stuff, texting each other, laughing while looking at me, and I'm like, "Okay." So we go to some of these stores, and then one of her friends was like, "Oh, so you're not gonna buy her nothing?"
At the store?
And I'm just like,
Some chick you just
"What?"
met.
I'm just like, "What?" She was like, "Oh, you're not gonna buy her nothing? Why aren't you gonna buy her anything?" I was like, "Why do I gotta buy her anything? I just met her. Who are you?" And I look her up and I'm like, "Who are you? Do I know you?" She's like, "Oh, you don't need to know me." I
Yeah,
was like,
apparently
I
not.
was like, I was like,
We
"Oh,
agree.
okay." I was like, "Yeah, we agree. Bye." And I just walked out.
Damn.
I just walked out. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not.
I remember there was a girl that I met up with. So she was an engineer, and she was like, made good money, typical DMV, professional chick, had two homes. She had her house and her rental property and stuff, but she kind of had like this kind of mannish, like masculine type of behavior, right? So we go out, and you know, she was late, but like 5 minutes late, and we're talking. And I was like, she's like, yeah, so tell me about you, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, well, I like to read or whatever. Like, I write, I do YouTube stuff. This is like when I was first on to start, and I watch MMA, blah blah blah. And I was like, but my issue is that I try to say that I'm not gonna buy more books, but I always buy more books because I like a book in my hands. And she's like, well, that's fucking stupid. Why don't you just go to the library? And I'm like, what did you just say? She's like, well, I mean, and I'm like, and what do you do? Well, I work. I'm like, okay, you don't do anything else. Well, I mean, I work. I'm like, so you're boring then, right? And she goes, well, and then so we started arguing, and then she goes, and I quote, oh, so now you're just gonna mansplain this to me or whatever. And I said, look, this is the thing about miserable broads like you. And and the date just didn't go well. But here's the funny part. When the check came, now I had already had like 3 beers and like an appetizer before she even came because she was like 5 to 10 minutes late or whatever. So I had like a beer when I first got there, and I drink pretty fast. Doc can tell you. So and then I had some like a $10 appetizer. She had like a glass of wine and like another drink. And when they brought the check, I had to split it in half. So she paid for most of my food. And then I was like, all right, bye. And then she texted
Got
me
him.
on the way back and was
He
like,
got her.
I don't like the fact that you made me pay for most of your food. And I just blocked her and never
He
talked
did
to
it.
her
He did.
again.
That's the way to do it. That's the
Yep.
way to do it.
I should have just went to the bath, said that I was gonna go to the bathroom, and then left her with the check.
Had her pay for the whole thing. Yeah.
Guys, I'm telling you, throw the smoke bomb and disappear
Since
into
we're
the
so
mist.
toxic, I'll show you toxic.
Yep, that's just the thing. But does anyone have one more final story to tell?
I have one, but it's crazy.
It's a doozy, huh?
I
want to hear this.
So this was a few years back. I was in this relationship with this woman for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years, and in those 3 years, it was just hell, to say the least. So I was like, we're gonna do something for Valentine's Day. She was like, oh, I've never been with a guy that did anything for me for Valentine's Day, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I want to do anything. I was like, you know what? Shut up. Let me do something for you on I said Thanksgiving. For Valentine's Day, it's going to be great.
No good deed goes unpunished, guys.
Oh, no, this is going to get really messed up. So I go out. I'm like, you know what? I buy her all the good stuff. I get her clothes. I get her jewelry. I got her like a little necklace. Got her flowers. The whole shebang. I was like, you know what? You only live once. Next thing you know, and this is like maybe 3 days before Valentine's Day. So I get a text in my DMs on Instagram, and it says "sup." I'm like, who is this person? I don't know this person. So I click the request, and I'm like, all right, I'll accept. And then I was like, who's this? And then they respond with a video. I was like, okay. I click the video. It's my girlfriend at that time. Full blown getting ran on.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
And he was like, yo, I just smashed your girl. And he sent me the video.
Man, he had video evidence, man. He had CCTV in this bad boy. Oh man.
In 4K.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like,
what did you do?
Funny?
Yeah.
What's funny at the time, I was on my little blue pill thing, so I forgave her.
Oh no.
Then she got a job. This is how you know I should have been gone. She got a job at Burger King and cheated on me again with a coworker.
Oh man.
She was cheat city.
Damn.
Jeez.
I found out about the Burger King guy because we had an argument, and then she was like, "That's why I fucked one of my Burger King coworkers."
Damn.
I was like, "Excuse me?"
That's why I fucked the dude on fries at work.
I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "You know what? Let me go. I'm done." I washed my hands of this. I was like, "You can enjoy your $9 paycheck at Burger King and your little coworker. I'm done. I'm gone."
Damn, man. That's crazy. Man, well, like I said, most men have simped for some chick, and that's what starts you on this red pill path, man. You know what I mean? Like all of us have. Some guys they're too ashamed to admit it. But once you come out of it, and you're out of the matrix, man, it's like you're just looking
like you're
down.
reborn.
Yeah, it's like you're reborn, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but cool, man. I appreciate you guys. Does anyone have any final words or any words of encouragement for the audience or anything you want to plug?
Always take the red pill, never the blue pill.
Facts.
I would say, what I consider a modern woman is someone who's educated, who makes her own money,
Mm,
uh, who is supportive.
mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there are women like that out there.
Yeah, but here's the
Um,
thing, modern women who make their own money, only 6% of women earn six figures. That's a small percentage
Mm.
in the United States. We're in the DMV where you got to make a lot of money to live where you live, right?
well, go
Mm.
find that 6%.
On, but here's the thing: you don't need that, because I'd be just as happy, probably happier with a girl who works shifts at Starbucks, who's cute, who will treat me good, other than a girl who went to school. She's some lawyer, so she works 80 hours a week, so she doesn't have time for me, and she has student loan debt. So what am I? I'd rather have a girl who's free, who might not make as much money, because I don't have access to her money anyways.
Yep.
Women don't spend money on
I
men.
mean, you see, like, I don't want her to spend her money on me.
So what's the point
I
of her
What the
making money
point
then?
is, she take care of herself,
But the
right?
thing is, in a relationship, you are interdependent. I'm not trying to say to find a gold
Exactly.
digger, but what I'm saying,
The
what
interdependency should be on a more higher level
but what
than
I'm saying is, I
uh
guess the term modern woman in the red pill space, right? A
mm,
modern woman is a non-traditional chick that sees
yeah.
everything about traditional, about supporting a man, about being, doing anything traditional as being wrong.
We
Okay,
should
that's
rename
what.
We should rename that thing. That's
Well,
not
no,
being modern,
no,
you
no,
know what
no,
I'm saying?
no. But
There's
no,
nothing
no,
modern about it.
because you have modern and you have traditional. So traditional women were everything from a housewife to a working woman that believed in traditional values. That's why we call them traditional. And we have modern is the opposite. Modern women don't believe in traditional values. That's why you will have a girl who's like the girl you dated who was 33, not that good looking, saying, "I want you to retire me." That's a modern woman's self entitled attitude. A traditional a woman wouldn't really say that. You know what I'm saying? She's not full of herself. Traditional women were selfless and not selfish. That's a modern woman, is a selfish, loudmouth, feminist woman, but still wants traditional outcomes. And she wants to be able to go, duh, you make money and whatever, but I want you to treat me like a queen, but I'm not going to do anything for you, and you got to like it. That's a modern woman in the red pill space. And over
Mm.
here, that doesn't fly. I always say, men, if you were going to be in any type of relationship, get with a woman that's either conservative or international, because they have more traditional values. Why is it that you have Asian women can out earn their husbands? Indian women. I know a girl. She's a psychiatrist, Indian, earns twice what her husband makes, but when he gets home, there's a hot dog on a plate. And she supports him and loves him and does everything that traditional women do. She's just accomplished at her job. So she's not quite the modern woman. She's the traditional woman who just happens to make a lot of money. But to her, her husband is the man. You know what I'm saying? So modern women
I mean, from
don't believe in that. No.
my experience, the best relationship I had was with someone who's highly educated, almost make the same amount of money as I do.
Yes, but she was
Uh,
very, very, very traditional though when it came to your relationship.
yes. So everything we do was like very considerate, right? Like
Yes.
from watching TV to uh planning a trip or uh dealing with our mental health,
Yes.
our emotional state, all of that was like a very supportive
Yes. But she wasn't a but
it
she
came
wasn't
from
an
like a
I, me, I. And that's a modern woman. It's I. You know what I'm saying?
well,
So,
yeah,
but yeah,
I don't know what's modern about that kind of behavior.
it,
You know what I'm saying? It
because
just doesn't.
because because that's not how people used to be. That's not how. If your grandparents and your great grandparents and your parents stayed married for 50 years, then your
Yeah.
mother and your grandmother wasn't I, me. It's these modern women the last 40 years that, why do you think marriage rates are down? Why do you think that they say by 2035, 54% or 53% of women over the age of 30 will be single and childless? It's because women in general are not the traditional women that they used to be. So, but they want men to be selfless towards them, but they don't want to give us anything in return. So, yeah, we should have a show
Yeah.
on what the modern woman is, and
Yeah, I think I'm lost with that definition.
yeah,
It just doesn't make sense. That's a selfish woman.
it is,
That's
it is. But that's the
like
American mindset.
so. How do you think is like like how many of them are out there? Like like I have like a one off two experiences like that, right? But like most of the time, like the woman I've talked to, seen, or dated, were to some extent like what consider it. You know what I'm saying? So like, how many of them are there?
I
Like
would
these
say
modern women?
a Generation X and below. So there's a boomers and there's Generation X. A Generation X and below, with white women and with black women, American blacks are the majority. That's why no one wants them. And with white women, I would say 40%, because they're still married at a 53% rate. So the majority of white women are married. And then Asians and Hispanics is up in the 70-80%. But black women will marry at a 25% clip and below. And that's because they don't see men, they don't respect men at all. And it's becoming more and more prominent in American culture. This misandrous, man hating, I don't need a man, men are trash, men are scum, you know what I mean? Men are all abusers type of mentality. You see it on TV, you see it in the news, and that's where the red pill comes from. Is once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And check the comment section of this video, guys. Chime in with what your experience with a modern woman is and what you define as a modern woman. And I really, 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 really think that you'll see now that it's tough out there. I mean, you or I, we're a little bit older than a lot of my audience who are in their 20s, but these guys who are in their 20s, I mean, 1 out of 3 men under the age of 30 is either a virgin or hasn't had sex in a year. Because
Yeah.
these modern women, they're the 80% of women want the top 20% of men, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Because men need to improve. But women aren't like how they used to be back in the 40s and the 50s, where you would meet your high school sweetheart, you get married, and then you have kids or whatever. Now you've seen this stuff. There's girls saying that if a man works a 9 to 5, he ain't shit. I would never date a guy who works a 9 to 5. How entitled is that to say that any man that gets up, goes to work, makes a living, comes home, that he's not shit because he's not some baller or some entrepreneur? But that's the mindset that you see in social media and mainstream pop culture. It's just Cardi B, Meg the Stallion, Nicki Minaj, city girl bullshit, you know? So, hey, I'm glad that you've managed to navigate your way through this without being stuck in this quagmire of modern women. Obviously, you're doing something right, so keep doing it. But dude, just be ready to see. That's how these women are, man. They just don't give a shit. And then when men walk away, when men get their passports and say, you know what, I'm gonna go to Ethiopia, I'm gonna go to Eritrea, I'm gonna go to Colombia. Then you see all these videos of them going, oh man, I knew these men weren't shit, and intimidated, and then they justify the fact that they can't compete with traditional women from other countries. They have to compete for the type of men that they want, and traditional women know this, but modern women don't, and that's why they're losing. That's why there's more homeless women now than ever before. And you're gonna start seeing them more on the streets. So, anyways,
with a behavior like that, you're gonna learn quickly, man.
yeah, that's true. But
You know what I'm saying?
all right, you guys, I'm off my soapbox now. You know what I mean? I had to go on an AJ rant, you know. But all right, you guys, I appreciate everything you guys do. Like, subscribe. You guys are the best. Stay safe, and I am out of here.